Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So today we are going to be doing football romance recommendations for everybody. It is that time of year. It is time for football to start. Some of us get excited about that. Mandy?
Yes.
Some of us have to listen to our husbands scream at the TV. So, you know. All right. So before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway. Our next level is 750. So Mandy, tell them what is happening at the 750 level.
Okay, so we have a signed copy of 9 Minutes by Beth Flynn. This was Jessica and I, both of our favorite reads during the month of July, and definitely going to be a favorite, I am sure, for the year. It is signed. And we have some swag that Beth sent to go with this. And we also will be adding a few extras, goodies to it. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends to hit the subscribe button. And follow us on Instagram for an extra entry. You are going to want this book. It is so good.
It is very good, yes. Okay, so let's talk football. So as you can see, Mandy and I have our team shirts on.
Seahawks. Hauska, no longer a Seahawks player, but that's okay.
I have no clue what you're talking about. I had to borrow my husband's Buffalo Bills shirt. He's originally from New York, and that's his team. So, because I don't have it. Mandy is the football watcher out of the two of us. When we were in high school, she would drag me to football games because she would tell me that I didn't want to miss out. And trust me, I wanted to miss out, but I did it for her. All the love. So
football's amazing. Okay.
Says Mandy. So let's talk. It's that time of year. Fall's right around the corner. Mandy has started school again, and the kids are leaving. Our kids are off to school this week. So it's time to talk football. So Mandy, why don't you start us out? You love football. You love football romance. So you've got recommendations coming out your ears. I was like struggling to find the recommendations, like good ones. So why don't you get us started here?
Okay. So my first one is called Playing House. This is by Cassie Ann L. Miller. 5-star read. This is about Jason, who is a pro football player, and he is like the party boy, ultimate type playboy for football. And his best friend's sister, Sarah, is getting married. She's getting married at the courthouse, and he shows up to crash the wedding. But before he can stop the wedding stops itself when the groom does not show up. So he is there to comfort her. He offers her a place to stay, says you can come back and stay at my place to kind of hang low for a little bit, kind of figure stuff out. And they decide to go out drinking. And the next thing they know, they're waking up the next morning drunk and naked together on the floor in his place, and she is wearing a huge diamond ring.
Ooh.
It was very good.
Okay.
Read it.
Okay. So my first rec is One Look by Lena Hendricks. This is about our hero. He is Wyatt, and he is a retired NFL player, and now he is coaching football for the local college. He is a single dad. He has a little girl, and he meets our heroine, who is Lark. Lark is a professional mourner. So she is paid to go to people's funerals and cry. And that is her job. And so she's sent to this little small town outside of where he teaches college. And she is there as a mourner. And when she gets found out, like, it's hilarious when she gets found out. And then he ends up actually hiring her on as his nanny. So we do see some football in this one because he is coaching the boys, but this is their story. It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? You changed your shirt? Oh, good Lord. Are you going to change your shirt in between each one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just staying here at the Bills. Okay. Go ahead, Mandy.
So I'm wearing a quarterback jersey now, a retired quarterback. Every time I buy a jersey, that player retires or leaves the next year. I have 3 jerseys. Same story for all 3 of them.
Wow.
So This is Tom Brady's Buccaneers jersey. He was the quarterback. And now I'm going to tell you a book about a quarterback. Here we go.
Okay.
So this is I Promise You by Elsa Madden Mills. This is about quarterback Dylan. And Dylan, he wants to go pro, but he is kind of a tortured hero a little bit. He's got some stuff going on. Serena's parents have died, and she is helping raise her teenage sister. And one night she's like, I think all of us ladies can relate to being home in really comfy clothes and running to the store for something like Oreos really quickly and hoping no one sees us that we know.
Okay? Oh, yes.
Relatable?
Yes.
Okay. So Serena does this. She goes to get some Oreos at the Piggly Wiggly and she runs into Dylan. And Dylan has all these like hot little models with him who are vying for his attention. So Serena refers to it as his entourage. Okay. And she runs into him. He has all the Oreos that she's wanting. So to get back at him, she goes and gets all of his favorite beer and loads up her cart, even though she's kind of struggling and can't really afford it. But she does it to prove a point. And he tries to talk to her and he thinks like everybody knows who I am. I'm the star quarterback. And she's like, oh yeah, don't you play lacrosse, Dennis? His name's Dylan. He's a football star. And so she does this like funny banter with him quite a bit. And for whatever reason, that's like a little bit appealing to him. And so they end up, she ends up going out to her car and her car won't start. And so he ends up giving her a ride home. So she ends up having to ride home with all these like model like chicks that are fawning all over him. But because she could give a crap less that he is Dylan the quarterback, that is actually very appealing to him. He's tired of these women who are trying to be what they think he wants. And so he loves this fact that she's like, oh, don't you play lacrosse, Dennis? Like that sort of thing. Like, so it's funny. I loved it. Serena is definitely like a strong heroine.
You keep covering your microphone.
Did I again?
You just uncover. I was like, she sounds kind of funny. And then you moved your book and I was like, oh, yeah, now I can hear her. I mean, it's fine. No, we can hear you.
Okay.
It's just that
I'll be more careful of it. I'll just keep it off to the side, I guess. Better.
Yeah. It's fun. I was like, oh, did she cover it again?
Yeah. But anyways, she's like a very strong heroine, which sometimes you don't find in sports romances. They're like meek and like, oh, the hot guy's never going to want me type thing happens a lot. But this is not that way. She like doesn't care. Okay. I loved it. I was here for it. I enjoyed Isla Madden Mills. I really like her sports.
I think it's Isla.
Isla?
I think so.
I'll look it up.
I think it's just in the like it could be pronounced either way, but it's a Irish
name.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it really quick.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
It's all good. Okay, so wrong person every time. Okay, so my next rec is the Rivalry by Nikki Sloan. This is about Jay and Kayla. This is the one that I told you about, Mandy, where I was like, his name was Jay. We know a Jay. Anyhow, that was interesting. But this one is a This one is a college football romance. So Kayla is the head cheerleader for the Ohio Buckeyes. And then she's at a wedding for one of her friends. And she meets this guy, Jay, and they hit it off and they have a great night. They are just attracted to each other immediately and things are going great. And then she ends up having to leave or something happens where they didn't get to exchange information. He put his number in her phone and the last couple of digits were wrong or something. Anyhow, it took a few days for her to get his information or vice versa. I can't remember. But when they finally connect again, it's at this bar, and this bar is a Michigan Wolverines bar, who is like the big rivalry for the Buckeyes. And she walks in and he's there when she meets him, and she's like, what are you doing here? Well, come to find out he is the tight end for the Wolverines. And so he is this big football player, this big football star for their college. And she has been raised Buckeyes through and through. She was born after the game on the football field, her dad was the coach for the college, and her family bleeds red. And so for her, this is like the ultimate like no-go, because it is this huge rivalry team. And she's like, my parents are going to disown me. My family's going to want nothing to do with me. And he's like, what's the big deal? It is just a football game. And so she's really all about it. And everybody around her is going, it's just a football game. So this was really good. I like this one. So yeah, good old college.
I can't.
Wardrobe change again.
Yes, but now I'm wearing Steve Largent's jersey.
Whoever. Okay.
He's a retired football player from like the 80s.
I mean, I've heard his name. I know of. I just.
Okay. Ready? Okay. My next book is called The Varsity Dad Dilemma by Lex Martin. I think you have this marked as want to read on your Goodreads. Yeah. So this is about football players in college, and they live at this house that's nicknamed the Stallion House. And Gabby lives across the street, but she used to have a thing for Ryder. They had like, we don't really know what's going on until more into the book. You find out more about what their relationship was like, but she feels a little scorned, and now she lives across the street watching the parade of women come and go. Well, one day a baby is left on their doorstep, and her brother also lives at the Stallion House, and there's a note pinned to the baby saying like, I'm sorry, I can't like take care of the baby. The baby's yours. But there's like all these football players that live there, and they're like, whose kid is it? And they go through a process. Like Gabby comes over basically and takes charge because her brother lives there, and tries to help them like figure out how to take care of the baby. And they start like a babysitting schedule. Like she really just takes charge. And then they try to figure out who most likely could be the father, and they do some DNA tests. But they don't want word to get out about this baby living there until they figure out what exactly is going on, because there's some stuff going with the school, like, and they're afraid that if the scandal gets out, it could jeopardize their football careers. So that is what's happening in this. I really enjoyed the story a lot. Lex Martin writes I've read more than one book by her where it's tiaras and Titans, I think is what it's called, where it's more than like, she has kind of a theme with these football players ending up being dads. But I really still enjoy the books. They're good. They don't feel repetitive, even though it kind of has the same thing going on. So yeah, The Varsity Dad Dilemma. Read it. It's good.
Okay. So then my next rec is another football coach. So, but he is a retired NFL player as well. So this is called Coach. This is by Devaney Perry. This is one of our newer releases. This is the first in what's going to be a series, and I am dying for the second. But this is about Millie and Ford. So when they were in school together in Montana, when they were in college together, they had gotten really close. Now Ford had a girlfriend at the time so Millie and him never had a relationship. He breaks up with the girlfriend, and he and Millie are just starting, like they're right there on that first kiss mark, and things are starting to happen. And all of a sudden something comes up, something big. And Ford drops her like a hot potato, and he takes off. He ends up getting in the NFL. He ends up playing for the Seahawks. And so then we fast forward a handful of years later, and Millie is at their old college. She works with the sports director, or she is the sports director. She works in the sports department at the college, and Ford is brought back as the college football coach, and they run into each other again. He is a single dad, and he has his daughter with him, and he is still got the hots for her. There's, he has reasons for what he did, and he still has a thing for her, but Millie needs to learn how to forgive him. But at the same time, because she is the sports director, there is a no fraternization policy, and she cannot go anywhere near that. And so this is how they work all that out. I'm dying for the next book. This was a really good book. I liked it. I like Devaney Perry. So yeah, it's worked.
Okay. Now I'm wearing
God
87 Rob Gronkowski's jersey again.
Every time we switch books, she changes her shirt.
I bought this jersey, and then he retired the next year.
She had a Tom
Becoming a
Brady
problem.
jersey on.
Okay. Are you ready for my next book?
Yeah.
Okay, my next book is Kiss Now, Liliator by C.W. Farnsworth. I love this book. I've talked about it before. And Jessica read C.W. Farnsworth's one Mafia.
It was, Mafia this last week. Yeah.
But she has such great books, not just football. But anyways, I loved this book. So this is about Maeve, and her twin brother plays football, and her dad is the coach, and their family, like you were talking about, lives, breathes football. And their rival school has a quarterback named Weston. And Maeve and Weston meet at a party, and then they don't see each other again for a couple of years. And so now it's like senior year, and this is like when all like make or break, for her brother. He needs to win so he can go to college on like football scholarships. She's a soccer player and sometimes kind of feels like the forgotten child a little bit in this family, because her twin gets the whole spotlight and her dad's the coach. So, that kind of just plays out. And Weston starts to notice her, and they start hanging out together, and he practices with her. And some people start to feel like, ooh, is she just trying to like find out what's going on and get some plays from you, that sort of thing. But she tries to keep this like on the down low because she does not want her dad or brother to know that she has feelings for Weston. So this is definitely got the YA feels because they're still in high school. It's very sweet. It does not have a lot of smut in it, but I absolutely fell in love with these characters and love their story and the angst that came with the story with that. Now, if you like, we grew up in a small town area, so we kind of understand the football rivalry and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to kind of understand that like this author didn't, if you've never grown up in that environment, this author did not make up this situation. Like this is very true in smaller towns. Sports become everything and people get very competitive.
It's nuts. It's weird and it's nuts, but it's what happens. They got nothing better to do. So
yes.
And the parents are the worst. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So my next rec I have for you guys is The Baller by Vi Keelan. This is about Brody. He is our football player, obviously. He is the Super Bowl MVP. He's named Super Bowl MVP. And then you have Delilah, and she is a sportscaster, and this is her very first locker room interview after the game. So she goes to the locker room. She's going to interview Brody. She gets it started. The camera is on, and he, wanting to be a jerk, removes his towel completely in front of her because she's a woman in the locker room doing the broadcast. And he decides he really likes messing with her a lot. And so he decides that's not the first time. That's not the first time that this happens. But he is like, the big playboy and whatever. And she's like, yeah, I ain't going there. And he likes to mess with her by doing stupid things like that. And so this is their story. I gave it 5 stars when I read it. So I liked it when I read it. So yeah, I think it's one of those though that you can read. I think I read it when the Super Bowl was going on last year or this year. And I always like to read a book instead of actually watching the Super Bowl. And but it's one of those like you read it and you really enjoy it. And then you kind of sort of forget about it afterwards, but it's good while you're reading it.
I read it. I loved it.
Of course you would.
If you weren't you told me to read it. If you weren't talking about it on this, I would have.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
All right.
Okay.
So my next, I'm wearing Travis Kelce on my shirt here. Because I did not buy his jersey because, like I told you, every time I buy somebody's jersey, they leave.
They retire. You're like, no.
I don't want Travis Kelce to leave me. I also even have this nifty little candle that smells like Travis Kelce, apparently. Somebody got it for me for my birthday. It smells good.
I think we're going to have an intervention soon.
Why? I love football. Players. Okay. So Travis Kelce is a tight end. So it is fitting that I put this t-shirt on to tell you about my next book, which is Vegas Aces The Tight End. This is by Lisa Suzanne. If you are not familiar with her work, pretty much every book she writes is about a person and they get 5 books. But don't be intimidated by that because the books are usually like right around 200 pages. And they read very quickly and easily. So don't be like, ooh, 5 books? That sounds overwhelming. It really isn't. It's very easy to read her books. So this is about Kaylee. She's the younger sister to her older brothers, obviously, who are football stars. And one of her older football brothers, teammate, is Ben Olsen. And Ben Olsen is our tight end. And tight ends are usually like Travis Kelce, or Rob Gronkowski, pretty good looking, pretty fit. Okay. So just picture Ben Olsen. Okay. So he is a partier. He's known at being there in Vegas. So he's known for being at like the higher end strip clubs and like things like that, like being a pretty naughty partier. Okay. Actually, that seems to go with tight ends. Interesting. As I'm saying that, I'm like, that's kind of true. So he has kind of developed this rough reputation. He is a little concerned that his reputation, though, is kind of what makes him him. But the team owner is not impressed and wants him to clean up his act. So through a series of events, Kaylee ends up agreeing to be like his fake girlfriend so that he can try and clean up his act. But what everybody else doesn't know is that they've been kind of fooling around. So they're pretending to be fake while secretly hooking up. But they don't want the family to know. And Ben's kind of been a part of the family. So he comes over for family dinners and things like that. So they just don't want their family to know that they're messing around. And that is what this story is. And then things obviously are going to happen that complicate and change stuff, as always, whenever you have a fake relationship in a romance book. But I really enjoyed it. It's a great one to read.
Okay.
Reason.
Okay. So then this is my last one. This is the last one. That was your last one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So our last one.
I won't be changing my shirt again.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. So this is The Game Plan by Kristen Callahan. So this is about Dex. His name is Ethan Dexter. They call him Dex. He is the NFL center on his team. And he is what we would refer to as a lumber sexual. Like he is, the big burly guy with the beard and the man bun. But he's been head over heels for Fiona for the last 2 years when he first met her, because she's the sister to one of the players on his team. And she was really young when he first met her. And so she was kind of off limits at that point, but now she's not off limits anymore, and he's not waiting any longer. So he is a virgin hero, and that is by choice because he's seen all of these guys out there in the NFL getting hooked by, oops, there was a hole poked in the condom and now you got a baby. So now that girl has hooked you. So he's decided to stay a virgin until it is the one. And so you have a virgin hero. And I'm like, I wrote down, it's always the quiet ones, because that's it. He's this quiet, big, burly guy. But when he and Fiona start seeing each other, there's a lot of things that come up. They don't live in the same state or the same city. There's a lot of excuses. And every time she comes up with an excuse, he's like, no, I'm not letting this happen. We are going to be together. I'm not going to let your insecurities come in the way of that. And we are going to work this out. And so I loved his character where he was like, I'm not just going to take this, just take your excuses and be like, oh, okay. No, I want you. I've wanted you for 2 years and I'm going to make that happen. So he's just, God, I think he's like one of the ultimate boyfriends. He was yummy. He was good. So yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
there you have it, folks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your football recommendations. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching.
Make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us, and drop a comment. What football romance recs do you have for us that we didn't talk about? I may have already read them, but still let us know what they are. I especially am always looking for good recommendations in the football field. So let us know and tell us, do you like football romance, or is it not for you? Do you have a whole bunch of jerseys I have been like waiting for this video for so long so I could do
She
that.
has all summer. She's been just dying to do this.
Yes.
So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Go Hawks.
Good God.